Good morning, everyone. It's Donna Cravotta, and I am here with day 4 of When Wisdom Meets AI in the Intentional Visibility Project. And today we're going to talk about something that is another topic that came up as I was researching um, 3 years of interviews from the Real 50 over 50 and a year's worth of my content from LinkedIn articles that I've written. And I did all of an AI tool called Google Notebook LM, which is primarily a research tool, and it allows you to find the patterns of different things that you're working on, and it's an incredible tool. Um, it had surfaced 374 different topics discussed in the Real 50 over 50 interviews. And then what I did was I asked it to find the top 10. And that's where I got the content for this entire series. I wanted to talk about the things that are top of mind and things that we really care about as women entrepreneurs over 50. And there are many more women over 50 that are joining the ranks. You know, they're starting businesses, and I want to be able to help them as they step into this new this new world, because it really is crossing a divide when you I mean, I did this years ago, but it is a different world. And it's nice to have uh a community that can help you do that. Avoid falling into the bright, shiny pool and investing in things that you don't really need. So, I want to, throughout this 15-day series, I'm going to be talking about these different topics that came up through my research. And I would love your feedback. Please comment here and, comment. There's an accompanying article for each one of these lives. So comment there. If we're not connected on Substack, connect with me. There's going to be all kinds of things coming that I will be sharing. And I'm going to just dive into today's topic, which is we need to stop outsourcing our voice. And we do that in a number of ways. Instead, let's put our hands on the keyboard and allow AI to be our thought partner. Not ask AI to write our content and speak for us. We don't want to outsource our voice there either. But there are so many ways that AI can help you. Um, by seeing the patterns that you can't see because you're too close to the content. So over this past year, I wrote a LinkedIn article on a newsletter on LinkedIn every week. And after about 10 months or so, I realized that this was kind of a journal of like my personal and professional growth over the last year. And what I did was I started to explore, like, what happened, and like what were the things that prompted me to either share something or change a direction, or whatever the shift was, whatever the transformation was. I was asking AI to help me identify, what led to what. And what it just validated, and it's something that I've believed for a very long time, is that, we cannot show up fully as ourselves and be heard and understood fully for what we stand for until we connect all of our parts. And there are so many things that we leave behind along the way, whether we're caring for children or, in a job that we hate, or, we're taking care of aging parents or other relatives, or we're just busy doing life. We have, another, you know, almost every single woman that I have spoken to has had some kind of health issue. And that health issue is a defining moment, because then you really need to reprioritize everything. So part of that reprioritizing is claiming your voice and acknowledging what you've already accomplished and figuring out, how could I do this so it's easier, because I don't have the capacity I had before. So there are so many different things that we're all experiencing in different ways and different timelines, but there's so much similarity. And this is we can't do this alone. We need to do this together. And part of what I have been building with the Real 50 over 50 for 3 years, this is our birthday. This month is our birthday. is to create that community, and, that's what I'm gonna be building over here on Substack. And I hope you'll join me because this is gonna be different. It's not gonna be one of these, usual typical things. I have always done things differently. I have always tried to be a step ahead of where technology is going, and that's really what I will be bringing here. Um, anyway, let me get back to this because part of this is I'm also introducing you to some of these incredible women from the Real 50 Over 50 community. And we have 178 and one man. um, so, anyway, what I created in Google Notebook LM are living libraries. It's our content. It's a closed environment. We're not putting our content in there and like it's reaching out to see what else is like our content unless we ask it to do that. But if you upload your sources, it's just yours. So I was playing with this. I was slicing it and dicing it, and all of these topics came up. And then what I did was I created a a data file, um, of at the end of every interview, I asked for a wisdom bomb. So I gathered those wisdom bombs. So now I have those. And then I asked uh, Google Notebook LM to find the people that were talking about more than one topic and that those topics overlapped. And that's how I'm figuring out who to include in each of these stories. So it's not none of this is random. In the past couple of days, I've talked about random acts of marketing. This is not that. Everything is intentional. Everything ties to something else. And what is the foundation of all of it is your story, your experience, your earned wisdom. It's not random and it's not made up by AI because AI can do so many things, but what it can't do is it can't bring the wisdom because it doesn't have it. It did not ever wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and wonder, is the mortgage going to get paid? It did not wake up at 4:30 with a sick kid. I mean, it just never had that experience. It's not in its muscle memory. It's not in its nervous system. So you need to bring that. But when you bring that, you can ask AI to help you craft your wisdom in a way that speaks to the audience that you want to speak to. And, but still holding your voice, holding your cadence, the way that you speak, and bringing your real lived experiences with it. And that's kind of like, people are looking for that magic button. There is no magic button. The magic button is you be you. And you learn how to use the tools in a way that complements what you already have. So I want to introduce you to a couple of people that came up in my little research project as speaking about similar things in the interviews that we did. So Pam Sylvan she's a midwife kind of person, and she helps people go through this transition of aging. And she considers midlife as our liquidation phase. It's where we let go of things we no longer need. And that's part of your story crafting as well. And it's also part of owning your voice because when you come and you speak about whatever it is that you're speaking about or write about whatever it is that you're writing about, you don't want to be bringing along all this baggage with you. You want to speak from where you want to go, not from where you've been. Like you bring the parts that you want to bring, the parts that support where you're going next, not the parts that you just did and you don't want to do anymore. Leave that alone, right? And let go of that so you can kind of move forward faster so you could move forward in a clearer direction. And Diane Wiska, um, she considers story, like find she is a storyteller. She's an absolutely brilliant storyteller, and she's here on Substack. Go find her, and she's incredible. Actually, if you go to the article, I have links to all of the people that I'm mentioning here, and they're all on Substack. But Diane, she talks about finding your authentic voice is like an archaeological dig. And it really is because, you can go back into things that you have created, things, talks that you've had, articles that you've written, social posts that you've posted 5 years ago, but you don't have to take them all. Just find those little nuggets that really speak to your own, like, transformational journey through who you've become over a period of time. And you don't need the 2,000 word article that that one sentence came from. Just take that one sentence because that one sentence is part of where you're going next. And, we have to bring the parts that made us who we are. And that's when you really show up as you. And a couple of other people I'd like to introduce you to is Susie DeVille, my birthday sister. We have the same birthday. And she talks about when life implodes and, everything goes down to we need to start this over again. This is not working. She calls it a nuclear winter. And when you are at that low point, that's when you find a level of courage. That's when you find parts in your own voice, in your own story that you didn't even know you had. And what comes from that is so incredibly powerful and it forges what comes next. And it's really it's amazing. And Susie, like I've known Susie for a long time and I've seen her go through a good portion of this and how she's living and working now is absolutely incredible. As we speak, she's in Paris. Sharing all her fun activities and adventures on social media, so go follow her. Um, and Hilary DeCesar is the CEO of the Relaunch Company, and she does incredible work helping people um, relaunch into the next thing that's meant for them, and she helps women become incredibly successful. And what she says is, you are the heartbeat of everything that you've built. You cannot delegate that. And you can't give your voice away. Ways that people give their voice away is hire somebody to do your social media without giving them direction, examples, work with them, let them pick up the cadence of your voice. But, you can get help in so many things, but you can't give away your voice. Don't let AI do commenting for you on social media. Spend the time. It could be 10 or 15 minutes a day, but it's gotta be you. Otherwise, it's people know. They know right away when it's not you and nothing happens. And that's why, so many people don't have success on these platforms because 'cause they're looking to get somebody else to be them. And when you are the thought leader in your business, when you are the person that the business is built around, it's gotta be you and your voice involved in that, and even if you are delegating, there is still a big part that you need to show up, and you need to prepare whoever it is that's doing the work, and still be present in the activities of your voice being amplified into different ways, because if it's not you, when you amplify it, you're just making "it's not me" louder. And here's the thing too. 2 things that I've learned from really being present in how your visibility, in your visibility, right? One is the things that you learn through being present in that and doing the work are things that you can't buy. Because, like, one of the examples I have given for years is if you, had, if you had somebody doing your LinkedIn for you, doing LinkedIn prospecting, or you handed that over to an AI tool, they would never know the relationships that you have other than common connections. Maybe it's somebody that you went to high school with that is now like sitting on top of this community that is the community you want to meet. How is anybody going to know that? Nobody would ever know that but you. So it really needs to be you spending the time doing this. The other thing that happens is when you start to listen to what people are saying online, the people that you want to know, the people that you want to connect with, it will activate things that are in the back of your head that you haven't even told anybody. And maybe you haven't even acknowledged yet that, oh, like this is a thing. um, but, you know, they could be saying something that like, activates this little thought that you had at 2 o'clock in the morning, and now that gets moved forward. Nobody else could do that for you. This is your business. Nobody else is gonna care about it the way you do. Nobody else is gonna know every, detail of who you are and what you've accomplished, what you've been through, what you've experienced the way you will. And when you start bringing all of that, everything changes. Okay, so let me see. I think that's all the people I had to introduce you to today. But I do want to talk about the living libraries for a minute. It's so incredibly powerful to see your work collectively. We are always out there. We're producing and we're creating and we're what's next and building the next thing and doing all of that. But when you can look back a little bit and say, okay, what were the parts that connected to bring me to where I am? That is where AI could really help. And in the article that I shared today, I introduced Miranda, who is my AI, and she is a combination of the tools that I use, which are primarily Perplexity, Claude, and Google Notebook LM. I'm not a ChatGPT user. Um, I I go back and forth between Perplexity and Claude a lot, and I set up these libraries in Google Notebook LM, and it's like an X-ray of your work, and you can ask it to do all kinds of things, to find different kinds of things. There are predefined um, um, creators in there in the studio where you can have audio, video, images, text, reports, you know, quizzes, all kinds of things created with the hit of a button. And when you give it a bit of a guidance, it's even better. Another thing that you could do is, and this is where things got really interesting, is in Gemini, which is Google's version of like Claude or Perplexity or ChatGPT, you can actually upload entire libraries. So it's like uploading a database. So I uploaded the library with my articles and the library with the interviews, and I asked for the gaps and the crossovers. That was mind blowing. I mean, I'm still playing with this because there's just so much there, but I wouldn't recommend starting with as much as I started with. But another thing that was when I really started playing with this deeply, this was maybe 6 months ago. I've been playing with it for like not but really not playing working in it, but I like to experiment. About 6 or 8 months ago, I realized that the articles that I was writing on LinkedIn, it was part of a series, like the most recent ones that I was writing, and I was maybe 3 or 4 articles in when I realized that. And then what I did was I took those articles and I brought them over to Google Notebook LM, and I was like, okay, where, what comes next? And what it did was it showed me the arc of my work, and I created an 8 article series that is basically the arc of everything that I do, and it's my methodology, and I never had it so clearly articulated before, but now it is, it's a tab on my Substack, it's a tab on my website, it's represented on LinkedIn. I share it with clients, like, before we start working together so they can understand, and it helps me whenever I wanna write something about my business. I mean, I reworked all of my services, and I started with that arc of 8 articles and said, "This is what I do. What's the best way for me to, like, serve people with this?" And it helped me recreate all of my services. I couldn't have done that with by myself because 'cause I'm too close to it. So it's really incredible what you could do with this if you have a little imagination. And I do want to extend an invitation because as I was creating this Substack, one of the things that I did was I figured out how do I, you know, set up these subscriber levels that would be beneficial to the people in my community. So there is free, which I'm gonna share tons of stuff for free. There's monthly and annual, and that is $10 a month or $88 a year. And with that, you get a bunch of different guides that I've created and um, um, some the archive of all the articles and some other things I can't even remember right now. But then there's the founding members tier, which that's the one that is I'm really excited about because this is where I can share all of these things that I have been working on and experimenting with. And some of them I've been doing for many, many years, and some of them are new because technology is new and this platform is new to many people. But that this is where I wanna grow everything together, and, it's gonna kick off on April 3rd with, a two-part workshop called the LLM of You, where we will go through my tried and new process to find your, content that you wanna bring forward, and then, on the second day on April 10th, we're going to build it into Google Notebook LM. So you have your own living library that you can go to again and again. And that is $300 for the year. And it's going to be a year of stuff. There's already a guide in there for how to set up your Substack, and that's whether you have a new one or you have an existing one, but you just haven't fully optimized it. And I'm keeping up with the new enhancements that Substack is bringing in, and there's been quite a few. So I'm providing information on that, and I'm going to provide other guides and quarterly, calls where we just get together and all kinds of support and engagement. The other thing that I'm doing is I want to go and find the communities where we can all grow together. So, we can bring things, can meet people and connect and I'm really good at figuring out the way online systems work, and I'm going to figure this one out really soon. I'm actually pretty good at it already, but I'm going to get even better. And the other thing that's happening next month, tech gods, if the tech gods cooperate, I'm going to stop live streaming the Real 50 over 50 interviews on Facebook and start live streaming them here. They will remain on LinkedIn and YouTube, but nobody's coming on Facebook. And honestly, I don't want to be there either. So this is where I want to build a community, and we're going to start doing the live streams here. So I'm excited about all of this. And if you have any questions, just reach out. But I'm really excited to be connected here and growing here together. And I'll be back tomorrow with more.